Vital things that relate to managing a school in the 21st century. Hello, distinguished school operators, school proprietors, school administrators. I'm Afolabi Adun, the Executive Director of the Center for Education Development, Abuja, and I'm here for a very comprehensive, detailed, and highly beneficial school management certificate course. It's to run for a number of hours. I'd like you to give us maximum attention because we'll be looking at vital things that relate to managing a school in the 21st century. It's a certificate course, and at the end, certificates will be issued to all those who participate. The topics to be covered in this course include the following: fundamentals of principles of school management, human resources management in school administration, financial management and planning in school administration, customer care and parent retention strategies, and then school growth and school development tips. That's basically what we have in store. So we'll go straight to class. Fundamentals of school management. What is school management? We are aware of the Center for Education Development. Over many years of training and dealing with school operators, not many school operators actually have undergone training in school management. And that is why we are trying to fill the gap now. What is school administration? What is school management? Basically, we could say school management is the process of controlling and directing a school's, number one, personnel, finance, number two, assets, number three, records, academics, and of course, parents, clients. I'll say that again. School management is the process of controlling and directing a school's personnel, finance, assets, records, academic activities, and clients, optimally for the maximization of standards and profitable returns on improvement. So you manage academics, you manage personnel, you manage finance, you manage assets, you manage clients optimally for two things: to maximize profits, to maximize standards, and also to have returns on investment, because your school is an investment. So nobody says you should not make profit, but you cannot sacrifice quality. You cannot sacrifice standard on the altar of profits. You have to strike a balance. There are some school proprietors that are only interested in money. They don't ply back what is coming in to move the school forward. So don't be that proprietor or that administrator who is only concerned about profit. You must be concerned about standards. You must be concerned about your personnel, your human capital. You must be concerned about delivery, academic activities, co-curricular activities, perfect customer care, good relationship with parents, records, and so on and so forth. So that's the definition: the process of controlling and directing the school's personnel, finance, assets, records, academics, and clients, optimally for the maximization of standards and profitable returns on investment. Now, what are the branches of school management? School management has the following branches. Number one, human resources management in school administration, and that has to do with things like recruitment and so on, recruitment, motivation, appraisal, training. We'll get to that in a moment. The second aspect of school management is financial management and budgeting. Records management is the third aspect. The third branch. Assets management is the next branch. Standard administrative procedures, things like the organogram, things like making things work even in your absence. Academic activities management, and then customer care, managing parents. The parents have a vital role to play. They are not interruptions, they are stakeholders, because without them, there's no school. In management, we say the customer makes paydays possible. So branches of school management: human resources management, financial management, records management, assets management, standard administrative procedures, academic activities, and then customer care. All right, so let's take the first one now. We're going to take them in sequence. Human resources management in school administration. What is human resources management in school administration? It is that branch of school administration that deals with the management of the school's workforce. The school's workforce, your human capital, your human resources. And when I say this, the personnel of the school, I'm not just talking about the teaching staff. You know, many school operators put all the attention of the teachers. All your trainings are only for the teachers. or everything you do for the teachers, but you have forgotten that, for example, customer care starts from the gates. Are you aware that if somebody is coming for admission, for example, for inquiries, it's not the teachers that will meet, the gate man, the secretary, all those people, it is after the person has been admitted that the child now begins to meet the teachers. So why are we putting all our emphasis on just the teachers? You need to pay attention to your non-teaching staff. You need to know what your gate man is doing. You need to know if your gate man is trained. You need to train him. You need to tell him what you want. There are some gate men, security men that are begging parents for money. Some are rude. Some are unkempt. Some are nonchalant. Some are not vigilant. Some don't know how to communicate. And that's the first person people meet when they come to your school. Pay attention to the security man. Pay attention to the bus driver. Do you even know where he lives? Did you sign, what referee? Do you have his referees? You have his passport photographs? Did you take a test for him, a medical test before he started working for you? What's his mental state? Who referred him? Who can vouch? Who guaranteed him? And now you put 50, 40, 20, 30 children in a bus every morning and afternoon in this guy's custody. Someone you don't know his house. You don't have his passport photographs. If he disappears today, where are you going to start looking for him? No referee. So pay attention to your non-teaching staff. Also, the school gate man, the cleaners, some of them are speaking pidgin English to your children. Some of them are pilfering. Some of them are negative influences on the children. Pay attention to the cleaners. Some of them are stealing your things, taking your detergent home, taking your bleach home, taking your toiletries home. You need to pay attention. You need to train them, because if you don't train them, don't blame them. Some of them are not aware that what they are doing is wrong. So the non-teaching staff, the gate man, the driver, if you have a school bus or school buses, the cleaners, the secretary, who is the person, the first official connection when people come for inquiries. Have you taught him the things to say to him, or how the things to say? Have you communicated? Has she undergone communication training? Has she undergone negotiation training? Interpersonal relationship training? These are basic things. So when I talk about the personnel of the school, I'm not just talking about the teaching staff. The non-teaching staff and the teaching staff. Then of course for the teaching staff, there are some of us that don't believe in training our staff. You need to begin to do that. I know that the economy is tough. Some of them you train them, they leave. But you see, like somebody rightly said, it is better to train staff and they leave, train teachers and they leave, than not to train teachers and they stay. You need to have a plan. And at Center for Education Development, we try to make it easy. We just finished, I think it's still on, an online training for teachers. Absolutely free. Those of you who participate, your schools participated, we didn't collect a kobo from you. And the link is still there. The link is still there. Go there, let your teachers be part, let them understand basic things about 21st century teaching. In that training, we talked about teaching methods. What are the teaching methods that your teachers are using? Do they understand child psychology? Do they know the temperaments of children? Melancholic, choleric, phlegmatic, and sanguine? Are they aware? Do they understand the ethics of the teaching profession? These are things that we need to begin to pay attention to. So, human resources management, you are concerned about the workforce of the school. And under that, it involves recruitment. Where did you get your staff from? What is the procedure for recruiting staff into your school? Recruitment, orientation. Because you see, this guy is coming from another school. There are things that are accepted in your school, which are not accepted in your school, which may have been accepted in the guy's former school. But you didn't tell them, you just told him you passed the interview, resume on Monday. What is the school disciplinary code? Is he aware policy? Is he aware of the lesson policy? Is he aware of the parents' relationship policy, the customer care policy, the fund handling policy? Is he aware? The code of conduct for teachers? All this common orientation. So when somebody is employed, he has to undergo orientation for about 2 or 3 days. Then the job description is part of human resources. You give them their job descriptions, specific things they will be doing. The job description is what the staff will be doing. The job specification is how the staff will be doing that. And you have to give them the tool. It's what you are going to be doing. And this is how I want it done in my school. Don't assume. As the English teacher, you're also going to mandatorily be in charge of the press club and the debating club. And these are the terms of reference. So you let them know. You let them know. You let them know that being early to school is not the same thing as being early to class. Because somebody can come early to school and go late for his period. So the job description, what will this guy be doing? The job specification, how do you want it done? So the first thing is staff recruitment, staff orientation, the job description. Then staff performance appraisal. You need to appraise your staff. At Center for Education Development, we do not believe in blanket salary increment, blanket bonus, blanket commendation. You need to ensure that you know the value addition. What is everybody doing? At the end of the year, you said you are giving everybody a bonus. You are sharing rice, oil, and nice things for Christmas. Are you aware that not everybody deserves a bonus? Those who are doing well and those who are not doing well, you are rewarding all of them just because it's end of the year. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Appraise your staff and let compensation be based on the appraisal result. Why should you appraise? Because subordinates, write this down. Teachers or staff do not do what you expect. They do what you inspect. Human beings naturally do not do what you expect. It's what you inspect. Once they know that you are inspecting, you are watching out, then they will sit up. One teacher has missed five days in a 20-day working week. He's taking permission for different things. I wasn't feeling fine, that's why I didn't come today. I'm taking my son to the clinic. I had to go to the bank. 5 days is not at work. And that teacher has been there for every day of the month. And at the end of the month, both of them go home with the same salary. It shouldn't be. It's against the laws of natural justice. Don't treat all your staff together. Everybody must be appraised. Parents are complaining about a particular staff. He's the one responsible for the mass exodus from your school, but you have kept him. His name is still on the list of those that will be given the Xmas bonus. Why? Or the Salah bonus. Why? Because you are giving everybody. You are increasing everybody's salary. Even those who are not adding value. Even those who are working against the progress of the school. Those who are divulging school information to third parties. Those who are embarrassing the school by asking parents for favors and for money. Those who are using negative words on the children, calling the students fools, idiots, imbecile, olodo, mumu, you don't know anything. And those you are increasing their salary. You are giving them a Christmas bonus. Those who are coming late and those who are coming early, no difference. You can't continue running your school like that. It will not grow. It will not grow. And you know something? School operators, one of the richest men in the world, Jeff Bezos said, he has been able to build a conglomerate. He said, when you do not treat your good workers, when you not reward or recognize your hard-working workers, you are actually encouraging your bad workers. Do you have a reward system in your school? Do you have staff awards? Do you have a way of knowing those that are adding value? You need to look at this. I'll say it again. When you do not recognize and reward your hard workers, reward does not necessarily have to be finance. It could be commendation. It could be a commendation letter. It could be an award. And if you want to make it finance, why not? If you do not do that, you are encouraging your lazy workers. The man who has come late every day of the term and the one who has come early, at the end of the month, they are all getting the same pay. They are all getting bonus at the end of the year. They are all getting increment. So what then is the motivation for the guy who is doing well? What's going to happen very soon? Demotivation. Diminishing returns. The guy will begin to ask himself some questions upon all the effort I'm putting in. There's no difference between me. And so he begins to come down to the level of those who are not doing well. Have appraisal. Appraisal helps you to monitor staff performance. Some have no regard for constituted authority. Some have no regard. It's only you, the proprietor or the administrator that they respect, that they regard. They bypass their HODs. They bypass the HM or the principal. They bypass the VP straight to you. All calls directly to you. A staff will not be in school tomorrow. It's you he has called. directly. Is that the way you want your school to grow? Don't you have an organogram? Are you supposed to be attending to them individually? Have you asked them? Is the HM aware? Is your HOD aware? Is the principal aware? Why are you calling me to take permission directly? That's not the way businesses grow. And your school is a business. Let's look at it. Let's be honest. It's a business. Run it based on sound business and management principles. Stop running your school as if it's a hobby. That's where you are feeding your family from. That's where you are meeting your obligations to God and to yourself. So you must take it more seriously. Don't accept indiscipline. Some are breaking the codes and the code of conduct. No appraiser. So how do you determine who is adding value and who is not? So that's where appraisal comes in. Then staff discipline. I talked about recruitment under HR, human resources management, recruitment, orientation, job description, performance appraisal, then discipline. Brothers and sisters, a lawless organization cannot stand. Don't run your school on sentiment. There should be discipline. There should be appraisal. There should be a code of conduct. There should be a disciplinary committee in place that will address negative things. So we need to discipline staff. It is better to be guilty of being too strict than to be guilty of being too lax, being too lackadaisical. Don't be an anything good school operator. Your school will not grow. Your school will not grow. Discipline. Discipline. I'm not saying you should be wicked. I'm not saying you should be vindictive. But I'm saying you must put your foot down. And you must ensure that everybody is in check. Discipline. Human resources management also involves motivation, staff motivation. So we say staff recruitment, you bring them on board, you give them orientation, you give them their job description, you appraise as they begin to work, and then discipline where necessarily, all right, and then staff motivation. You must motivate your staff. You must motivate your staff. Most staff are demotivated. And motivation is not just about money. Somebody can be earning ₦1 million per month and not be motivated. $1 million per month and not be motivated. So it's not just about money. How do you talk to them? Do you talk them down in front of the students, in front of parents? Do you insult them? Do you threaten them? Do you tell them that their cup will soon be full? You will soon sack them upon what I'm doing for you? Don't talk like that. Do you say my school? Don't say my school, say our school. Don't tell them they work for you. Tell them they work with you. Brothers and sisters, people protect what they are part of. If you give the impression that they are there, you are here, you people, that's all you keep saying, you people. My school, my school. You people want to bring down my school. You have divided, you have made it clear that they are not stakeholders. So what are we going to do about the decline in enrollment? What are we going to do about this thing? I'm not too happy with the way you guys are doing. Can we please step up our game? Use we, don't use I. And don't say you are working for me. They are not working for you, they are working with you. And that will help you to all right, then you motivate them. Also, remuneration. It's another issue. We'll talk about that very soon. Remuneration is important. All right? Remuneration. You meet all your obligations to them. Don't be somebody who doesn't meet obligations. Who doesn't pay when you should pay. Who doesn't pay what you should pay, what you agreed you should pay. Motivation. Training is motivation too. Commendation. Do you give your staff commendation letters? Do you celebrate them in on their special days? Motivation is important. What is motivation? Bringing out the best in your subordinates. And that's important. That's important. The economy is getting tougher. So you have to encourage your staff. Find a way. You might not have all the money, yes, but at least you have kind words for them. You appreciate them. Thank you so much. Well done. The management appreciates you. When you are having your speech and prize giving day, give teachers awards too. Have staff award programs. This is the staff of the term, or the staff of the session, or the staff of the month, whatever. And that's for teaching and non-teaching staff. Then under human resources management, it also involves training and development. You have to train your staff. If you don't train them, don't blame them. You have to expose them to contemporary information. You need to do that. Training is not a liability. It's actually an asset. It's actually an investment. It's not an expenditure, sorry. And then staff remuneration. All right. So those are the branches of school of human resources management. All right. Recruitment, orientation, description, and job description and certification, staff performance appraisal, staff discipline, staff motivation, staff training and development, staff remuneration. So let's look at them one by one now. Recruitment. All right. Now, what is recruitment? Recruitment is the process by which organizations fill up vacancies in order to ensure that there is no vacuum in service delivery. And it's called staffing. We don't call it recruitment or staffing. Make sure there is no vacuum. And you must plan ahead. The maths teacher in the primary section, for example, the only maths teacher they have there is pregnant. You know that in 9 months, under normal circumstance, she's going to go to give birth, and she's not coming back till about 3 months or 2 months. I don't know how long your school does. So what is your plan to ensure that there's no vacuum? That there's no vacuum in service delivery. The teacher has given you notice, is leaving at the end of the month. What is your plan? So recruitment is the process by which organizations fill up vacancies in order to ensure that there's no vacuum in service delivery. Now, every school should have 3 categories of staff. But again, it depends on the size of your school. It also depends on your financial capabilities. But under normal circumstances, 3 categories of staff. Number 1, teaching staff. Number 2, administrative staff. Then number 3, support staff. Teaching staff, that's easy. Teachers. Admin staff, looks like the bursar, the secretary, the librarian or whatever, depending on the size of your school. You don't have to have bursar immediately. Depends on the size of your school. Some say bursar, some say accountant. No problem. Or you just have somebody handling the finance. Then the secretary, who will be attending to parents and so on. And then support staff, like the cleaners, the minders, the gate man, and so on. The gate man is not an admin staff. The cleaner is not an admin staff. That comes under support. All right? Some schools just say teaching and non-teaching. Fair enough. But it ought to be teaching, admin, and then support. The driver is not an admin staff, but it's a support staff. That's if you have a school bus anyway. Now, let's go to recommended recruitment process. How do you recruit staff? You want staff. You have discovered that you need more staff. The maths teacher has given you notice. The English teacher has given you notice. I'm leaving for greener pastures. My husband is relocating at the end of this month out of the country to another state, so I'm leaving with him, sir. The notice has been given. What do you do? So what is the problem? What is the challenge? You need maths teachers. You need an English teacher, a French teacher. So the first thing you do, look at the sequence now. You objectively determine your staffing needs of the school. Objectively. Ask yourself, what staff do I need? And make sure you do need, because you, instead of employing, for example, the lady that is going on maternity leave, she's going to come back after 3 months or 2 months. You might be able to say, if it's a primary school, okay, teacher this, can you stand in, can we combine, 2 of you, can you stand in for her, in addition to what you are doing, since you can also teach maths, all right, don't worry, I have a little bonus for you for that period. I give you this in addition to what you are getting. That might make more sense than employing a new English teacher or maths teacher just because the person she's trying to replace has gone for maternity leave or is out for a month or so. So don't be in a hurry to recruit. Look inwards first of all. Is there any way you can there can be multitasking? Because every time you recruit, your overhead goes up. Salary is not a favor. Salary is an obligation. It's a contract. So, but if you have determined and you discover that you really need to get a new staff, you need to get some new staff. So the next thing you do, you now advertise. What do I mean by that? Awareness. You just let people know. Let people know. Let people know. Tell the staff, we need this. Put a sign in front of your school gate. Go on air. Go on the internet. Announce in your church. Announce in your mosque. In your group. I need this. Whatever. Let people know that there's a need. It's not a matter of prayer. Father, please bring a maths teacher. Let people know. Now, once you have advertised, so the first thing you determine the needs, staffing needs. Number 2, you advertise. Number 2, you now receive handwritten application letters. What I'm giving you now is for teaching staff. Don't receive typed application letters for teaching staff, for teaching applicants. Because from the writing alone, you will eliminate some. Don't forget, because of the economy of the country, the minute you say teachers needed, though you need 1 teacher, you might end up getting 10 or 15 or 5 or 20 applying. So handwritten application letters. And you look at the handwriting, all right? Then you conduct aptitude tests. That's the next thing. Maybe 20 people have applied. You conduct the aptitude test. Aptitude test is not the same thing as the main test. This one, you're just trying to look out for intelligence, because there's a difference between intelligence and brilliance. Brilliance is a function of academic work. Intelligence is a function of brain work, as in how intelligent are they? Somebody can cheat on campus and get a first class. Somebody can be in a cult and get a first class if all the lecturers are in the cult. Somebody can sleep with all her lecturers and get a first class. So do not just be carried away by qualifications. So, aptitude tests. You are looking out for basic intelligence. Something as just get some questions from verbal and quantitative textbook. You'll be surprised what you will get. In all organizations, they do the aptitude test. So from the aptitude test, you will knock off maybe a percentage. So let's say now they started as 20. From the handwritten application letters, you knocked off like 6. Their writings were bad. So you're left with 14. From the aptitude test, those who fail, go. You're left with, let's say, 5. That's still not. You now conduct what I call the panel interview. This is physical. They come in because somebody can pass the aptitude test. Somebody will have a good handwriting, but not be presentable. They might have a physical defect. That is not to say that you should not employ anybody who has who is physically challenged. Please, I didn't say that. But for teaching job, you need to, if he cannot stand, it might not be easy for him to write on the board. If he has an eye issue, he will not be able to see. All right? So you need to see who you're employing. So you conduct a panel interview. At the panel interview, you're looking out for composure, you're looking out for appearance, you're looking out for decorum, you're looking out for confidence, you're looking out for versatility, you're looking out for work history, you're looking out for reason for living. There you will engage them. Because if you ask them to write why they left, they will not tell you the truth. So there and then, you begin to ask them questions. You also test his temperament. How does he act under pressure? You can deliberately upset him. Ask him the question that will upset him and see how he will respond. Just upset him. Young man, you're a liar. You're a liar. You said you left school in 2000 and this, and you entered this. This is a lie. This is a fake result. Though you know it's not true, but you are trying to see how he will respond. How will he respond? Because you see, how people respond under pressure when they are angry is their true reflection. Some will get so upset. Some will remain calm. I'm sorry, sir. With all due respect, I take exception to being called a liar. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not a liar. Let me explain. And then it's calm, even under pressure. But there are some that will get angry. Why are you calling me a liar? I cannot accept this. I don't want the job again. People like that, don't keep them. People who raise their voice at you, because they can raise their voice at you who wants to employ them, they will definitely do worse to your children, to the students. So deliberately put them under some undue pressure. Make them upset and see how they will respond under pressure. I tell you, if you do this, you will eliminate almost 30% from that panel interview. Then you also look out for appearance. You look out for comportment. You look out for verbal communication. All this you cannot achieve in written form. All right, so let's assume after that, you have knocked off another percentage. You are now left with 3. Fine. But you don't need 3, you need 1. You need 1 maths teacher. So what do? You now conduct practical classroom tests. You take the 3 of them to class, tell the HM or the principal to do that. And then it begins to look at, in a classroom test, you're looking out for lesson delivery skills, student interaction skills, knowledge of the subjects. You knock off maybe 1 or 2. Then lastly, you cross-check their references. All right? You don't need to start checking references at the beginning. It's towards the end. The 1 or 2 or 3 you want to take, check their references. Do this. Don't assume. Put a call through. Hello, my name is this from this school. I have one Mr. Fred Michaels who has applied. I want to give a job in my institution. He said it worked for you. And whatever the place of last employment says, take seriously. Whether good or bad, take seriously. Then when you are satisfied with that, you can now issue an employment letter. All right? Issue an employment letter. And then you conduct orientation. All right? Now, an employment letter is not a one-page document. You have to be very careful so that you don't mess yourself up, your school up, through litigation later when you want to disengage him or whatever. So what are the components of an employment letter? Can you take this down? Components of an employment letter. Number 1 of a school employment letter. The dates, the title or the heading, all right? Appointment as a teacher. as a security guard, as whatever it is you want for him, specify. All right? Engagement of your services as whatever. Reference, then you refer to the application letter. Listen and listen to me, brothers and sisters. Nobody should get a job in your school without applying. Even if it's your son, even if it's your daughter, even if it's your spouse, you have to apply. Because the application letter is the first communication. So you refer to the application letter. You don't refer to the interview, you refer to the application letter. Reference to your application for employment in our school, dated so and so. The management of ABC school is pleased to offer you employment as what? So number 4 will now be your clearly defined position. What exactly is it? Not just as a staff, not as a teacher, as a what? Then clearly defined job functions. Your job functions will include the following: classroom teaching, involvement in co-curricular activities, supervision of the press club, of the juniors, engineers and technicians club, whatever it is. And I will advise that you add and any other assignments given to you by the school. Add that clause, because as the school grows, more things might come up. So that when you ask him to be in charge of this year's inter-house sport, this year's speech and first giving day, doesn't start telling you that that's not in my appointment letter. All I was employed for was to teach. I don't know where this is coming from. So always add a clause. And any other assignments the school may deliver. All right. Then you also have to give him. Then you put your remuneration. How much is he earning? You will be on grade level this or salary of this amount. Put it there. What are the conditions of service? You add it. That's number 7. I told you employment letter is not 1 page. It's not even 2 pages. All right? So the dates, the title, as a heading, reference to application letter, clearly defined position, clearly defined job, functions and responsibilities, the remuneration, how much is he earning, then the conditions of service. You are working for 5 days in a week. You'll be expected to resume at this time, close at this time. Whatever are the conditions of service, you're entitled to leave during the long vacation or whatever it is, how you are doing, you want to run it, put your cards on the table so that you don't have problems later. Then let them know, that's the next one, that this appointment is subject to feedback from your reference, from your referees. It's a temporary appointment. Don't give everybody permanent appointment at the beginning. Let there be something like a probationary period. Please know that you'll be on probation for 3 months. You'll be paid, but you're on probation. At the end of 3 months, if you're not satisfied, we can both part ways amicably. If you are also not satisfied with us, you can go. Probationary period, we recommend 3 months. Conditions for termination. Please note, that's the next one. You put it, conditions of termination. Please note that the management reserves the right to terminate your employment without you being entitled to anything in the following instances. And they begin to outline the instances: sexual molestation of our children, insubordination, whatever it is, financial misdemeanor, and so on. Put that clause. Conditions for termination. Then code of conduct should be attached. The mistake many of us make, after we've employed them, they've started working, we now bring out the code of conduct. No. The code of conduct should be attached to the employment letter. Let them read it. Because there might be something in the code of conduct that is not satisfied with. You have said that he is not allowed to, he has to resume at 7:30. And this guy stays kilometers away. He might be able, and maybe another school, I told him, we can give you a little bit of, we don't understand, you can come in for 8. So you opt for that one. So attached to your employment letter, at the condition, employment letter should be the code of conduct. And then lastly, give him option of consent or rejection. At the end of the letter, you now say, please, we are expected to write back to the school within the next 1 week if you accept the following conditions. So, but if we don't hear from you, then we don't. So it's not enough to give someone an appointment letter. He also has to write, sign that he accepts the conditions you give to him. Then you staple the employment letter with his consent or consent letter, staple, and then you file them. Did you get that? Can I go over that again? So components of an employment letter: date, title or heading, reference to application letter, refer to the application letter, clearly defined position, clearly define job functions, remuneration, conditions of service, subject to, tell them what they are subjected to, probationary period, and I recommend 3 months. You could do less, you could do more, depending on what you want. Conditions for termination, code of conduct will be attached. Let him go through it. And lastly, option of consent or rejection. Option of consent or rejection. Is that all right? Okay. I have some useful recruitment tips for you here. All right? Classroom interview is compulsory for teachers. Don't let that be bypassed. Number 2, insist on formal handwritten application letters. Insist on references and cross-check the veracity or the authenticity. Insist on seeing original credentials, not photocopies. You give it back to him, but you have to cite the originals. Be committed to excellence and professionalism when you are recruiting. Don't recruit based on sentiments. Don't recruit based on assumptions. Be committed to professionalism. Don't hire unilaterally. Have a panel in place, a panel of 3. Maybe yourself, your HM, or your principal, 1 or 2 HODs. Don't do it alone. Place all your cards on the table. Let them know exactly what you do. Don't bite more than you can chew. What you can pay, put it down. The working days, put it down. You say entitled to leave. If you're in your own school, during the long vacation, teachers are working, just come to school, put it down. If you don't put it down, it will assume. And it will now go and enroll for a sandwich program. And then when it's time for long vacation, both of you start having issues. Put all your cards on the table. As a lady, if she puts to bed, how many months is she entitled to? Is it 1 month your school can do? Put it down. Is it 2 months? Is it 3 months? Is it 1 year? Whatever. Don't start changing the goalposts when the game is on. So put your cards on the table. Then put all agreements in writing. At the end of the day, ensure, don't employ verbally. Don't say you did well, resume on Monday. Everything must be in writing. And then you sign, the person signs. So that tomorrow nobody accuses you of cheating him or her, or of going against your word. Remember, whatever is not written, it's not binding. It's not binding. So put your arguments in writing, okay? And then lastly, please, don't be carried away by qualifications. Be concerned about attitude, about personality, about character. These are all important because somebody could have a PhD and yet have bad attitude, have bad character, be a rude teacher, a rude person. So qualification is good, but also look out for attitude, all right? Then make sure you carry out orientation for newly employed staff, okay? That's just recruitment procedures. All right, let's go now. Now, as soon as the staff has been employed and has given a letter, you now give the staff what I call orientation. And under orientation, what does orientation entail? Number 1, acquainting new staff with the school's policies. What are the policies of your school? For example, parent relation. Every school should have parent relation policy. What are staff expected to relate with parents? You let them know. Part of the orientation. What is the fund handling policy? How do they handle funds? Are they allowed to handle funds? They can just collect money from anybody. Let them know. Safety and security policy. Let them know. That is it. Emergency response procedure. If there's an emergency, there's fire, this is the procedure. So, acquaint your staff with new policies. The second thing that you must do in the orientation, acquaint the new staff of the school with the code of conduct. Remind them of the code of conduct. Remind them that there's appraisal that will be done quarterly or termly or monthly. Number 3, you introduce the new staff to all existing staff, including the security guys, the cleaners. Because you see, even the children, let them know, introduce them to the children. Hello children, this is Mr. Fred, this is Mrs. Angela, and they will be your teachers for this, so that the teacher doesn't come tomorrow and the security man locks him out. You're not a staff, I don't know you. The cleaner says we don't know you. So get somebody to take him around, and it's introduced to the staff. It's also introduced to different areas. This is the toilet, this is the staff room, that's the principal's office, this is the organogram, this is the reporting sequence, this is your HOD, and so on. So that's basically what orientation is all about. And make sure that you do that. So it is like you are inducting them for your school. All right. After orientation, then you can now open a file. So look at the sequence. You have recruited the staff. You have issued a letter to him. You have carried out orientation. Now you can open a file for him. What are the components of a school employment file? Some of us put all the staff matters together. One big black manila file, big like this. And then you just say staff matters. That's not right. Separate the files. Let's have individual files. How much is a file? 100 naira, or I don't know how much it is in other currencies. It might be more. Have separate files, flat files. What are the components of a school staff file? What are the components? Let's go now. Number 1, 2 recent passport photographs of staff. That's the first thing. You need to have their passport photographs. Because if there's anything, they disappear tomorrow, they molest your child, one of the students, because you cannot know everybody to the end. How will you declare this person wanted when you don't have his passport photograph? So you need to have 2 recent passport photographs of the staff. Tell them to bring their passport photograph. Original copy of application letter. That was the first contact. What they wrote to you that they wanted a job. I told you earlier, even if it's your spouse, even if it's your son, your daughter, they should apply. They should apply. Run your school based on standard operating procedures. You apply. The proprietor, the administrator, ABC school, I hereby apply for the post of, yes. So that application letter will be in the file. Then photocopy of appointment letter, because the original will be with the person. You issued an appointment letter to him, didn't you? You did. All right? So the photocopy should be filed so that you remember what you wrote. And even if you're not there, anybody can pick it. So that at the end of 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, because time flies. The guy is saying some funny things about you. You can just bring out the file. This is what I'm committed to. This is what we agreed. So the appointment letter, that form that he signed, that consent letter that he wrote, accepting the conditions, will be inside the file too. Results of the interview. You did an interview. What was his score? Put it there. All right? Photocopies of credentials should be there. Don't keep the originals. Give them the original, but the photocopies of their credentials should be there. Name, address, and contact of referees. The people that referred him, that guaranteed him, or whatever, should be there. Should be in the file. Should be in the file. And I want to say this to you, proprietors and administrators. Guarantor is actually not the same thing as referee. Ask for the two. Referee is just simply somebody who knows you, who can refer. Yeah, this guy worked for me. This guy is a member of my church. This guy, so that's the referee. But guarantor is that person who agrees that in the case of any misdemeanor, in the case of any wrongdoing, I can be held responsible. So insist on the two. For teaching staff, for non-teaching staff, insist on the two. Especially for your driver. Especially for the bus driver. But actually for everybody. Because an accountant, a bursar, a teacher can disappear with millions, depending on the level of your school. There must be somebody who is bold enough to stand as a guarantor. So ask for the guarantor. His details should be inside the file. Then you also need to have name, address, and contact of next of kin. Some of us, what I'm saying now, you will need to ask the staff to reapply, and then you now do what is right, to open separate files, make sure these things are inside. You will also need to tell them to bring, who is your next of kin? What is next of kin? Next of kin is not referee. Next of kin is not guarantor. Next of kin must be, first of all, a family member. It doesn't even have to be a family member. You are the one to tell me who your next of kin is. Don't assume for the staff. We are saying that if anything happens to you, God forbid, as a teacher, you drop, you fall down and you die, either at work or outside work. And the school, on compassionate grounds, has 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira that they do as a matter of policy that we give to staff in cases like this. Who should we give it to? That's next of kin. Who do we call in case of anything? There's an issue. Who is the person closest to you? And a school proprietor, a school operator, a school administrator is not supposed to assume or to choose next of kin for somebody else. He said it should be his wife. Give the 100,000 naira to the wife. What if he wanted it to be his younger brother? What if he had just done DNA and discovered that the so-called children you say are not his? So tell everybody, give me your next of kin. If it's your elder brother, your younger brother, your best friend, whatever. So next of kin, name, address, and contact should be inside the file. So don't forget, name, address, and contact of referees, name, address, and contact of guarantors, name and address and contact of next of kin. Then also inside the file, agreed terms and conditions of service. The things you agreed, you put them down. The acceptance letter duly signed by the staff, you put inside the file. Copies of correspondence with the staff. As you begin to, as it stays with you, there will be different kinds of correspondences. Memos, queries, warning letters, commendation letters, whatever. All the permission has been taken is right. Don't take verbal permission. You want to be out of school tomorrow, write it. Apply it for permission because it's going to enter your file. That's how the civil servants work. Everything they do in civil service is based on file. That everything. So you to introduce that so that you'll be referring to file. Bring his file. So those of us that are taking verbal excuses, people give you verbal excuses. I just carry my phone. I just want to take permission. I will not be in school tomorrow. You cannot use phone to take permission from now on. Tell them, put it in writing, send it to the with HM if it's a primary school or with the principal. Then I will look at that, and then you sign also approved. If you don't approve, not approved. He has asked for a loan. You should not ask for a loan verbally. You should write it, put it. All those things will be inside his file, so that on the day of reckoning, you open the file, and everybody knows what's there. He knows, and you know. All right. And then records of promotion, staff awards, training certificates should also be inside the file. That is as the guy stays long with you. Some of us spend money training staff. You don't ask for the certificate, the photocopies of the certificates. You just let them keep their certificates. Yes, they can keep their certificates. That's nice of you. But the photocopy, especially if you sponsor the training. If you sponsor the training, you ask them to make photocopies, and the photocopy is inside the file. It's inside the file. So inside it, you see 14 items for staff file. Go and check your staff file, what is inside. If there's anyone missing, address it. And it's so important. Because of time, I can't run through them again, but you can listen to what I just said. But there are 14 items. Passport photographs, photocopy of appointment letter, original copy of application letter, comments by results of the interview, employment form, photocopies of credentials, and don't forget these three. Name, address, and contact. Contact is GSM. Of referees, name, address, and contact of next of kin, name, address, and contact of guarantor. Non-negotiable. All right? Then acceptance of the letter signed, and so they're not up to 14, sorry. So, okay. Now, then you make sure, the next thing you do, ensure each staff has its job description and job specification. What are they going to be doing and how? Tell them what you want them to do and how. All right? Then, another aspect of human, so we talked about recruitment now. That's recruitment. All right? Let's now go to training. All right? Training staff. It's another part of human resources management. I'd like to say this to you, brothers and sisters. Teachers' productivity is a function of three things: ability, skills, and facilities. Ability, skills, and facilities. Somebody can be very, very sound, but he does not have the facilities. He still will not be effective. But out of these three, skill is a function of training. The more you train me, the more skillful I get on my job. So, facilities, the school provides. Ability, what the guy can do. But skills, training brings out skills, all right? I'd like to give you some points to note about training now. Number one, training enhances capacity, it enhances competence, and it enhances teaching prowess. Training is not an expenditure, it is an investment. Stop looking at it as an expenditure. The real strength of a school, that's number three, is determined by the competence of its teachers, not necessarily its infrastructure. What parents want primarily is for their children to do well. If you like, have the best infrastructure, have air conditioners in all the classes, have fridge, even if you have refrigerator in all the classes, beautiful play equipment, everything. But if you do not have teachers who are teaching well, your true strength is that's your strength, which is not a strength. Because at the end of the day, did my child pass his WAEC? Did my child pass his common entrance? Did my child pass his Cambridge exam? That is basically what parents are out for. In addition to beautiful things you're also doing. So the true strength of a school is the competence level of its teachers. Next point, if you don't train your teachers, don't blame your students. Don't blame your teachers. If you don't, you say somebody is rude, somebody does not relate well, he has poor customer care. Have you trained him on customer care? Your class is too rowdy, always rowdy. Have you trained them on class management? I don't like the way you talk to the students. You are rude. You talk to the children anyhow. Have you trained them on teacher-student interaction? These are not taught in the NCE. So training brings these things out. And I'd like to say this to you. There are some of us that are of the opinion, of the notion, that once a teacher is qualified, there's no need for training. I have had proprietors say, all my teachers are qualified. They have NCE. They have B.Ed. Bachelor of Education. So why do I train them? They are educated. I'll say this to you. If you belong to that school of thought, I'll say this to you. There's a difference between training and education. Education tells you what to do, but training shows you how. Education tells you what to do, but training shows you how. Education tells you that the teaching methods are lecture method, discussion method, dramatization method, audiovisual method, explanation method, Montessori. That's what. But what of how? How? That's where training comes in. That's where training. And don't forget, not everything is even covered in the curriculum. Customer care, for example, parent retention is not covered. I don't even think child psychology is covered. So you see, interpersonal relations is not covered. Teamwork and team building is not covered. So we need time management. It's not part of the curriculum of a teacher in university. You see. All right. So train your teachers. At Center of Education and Development, we offer free training for teachers. Once it's online. The only one we charge for is if it's on site, because we have bills to pay. Airfares, hotel, feeding, and so on. That's why we charge. And we try to be reasonable, even in spite of that. So if you cannot afford to invite us over, log in. We'll give you do an online. Let them, and I'll comment. I've been seeing many pictures. Many of you have been sending pictures. You just play the video on the screen. And then they sit for the test. And then we issue the school a certificate. They're trying to make it as affordable as possible. So that's training. We've talked about recruitment, talked about orientation, talked about training. Let's look at staff discipline now. I hope we are making some progress. Staff discipline. Now, I'd like to say this to you. Discipline and order are key requirements for success in any school. A lawless organization cannot stand. Don't run your school based on sentiment. There must be discipline. There must be order. There must be accountability. You don't do what you like. I said it earlier. It is better to be guilty of being too strict than to be guilty of being too lax, or being too lackadaisical. So, how can I discipline staff? This one I'm talking about is not for students. This seminar is not about the students. It's about the staff. It's about you running your school the right way. Okay? So, standard disciplinary methods. Verbal warnings, you warn them verbally. Queries, you give somebody a verbal warning. Mr. Fred, your late coming is getting worrisome. Take your time. The children are reporting you. You come late for classes. They are saying you talk them down. You use negative words. I'm warning you, verbal. Mr. Fred continues, you issue him a query. What is a query? A written demand for an explanation. Then he continues, you give him a written warning. He continues, the next one is suspension. Definite or indefinite. They're suspending you for 2 weeks. And when you suspend, don't pay. Because if you suspend and you are paying, that's leave. That's leave. How can somebody be at home for an offense and is getting... It's 2 weeks without pay. 1 week without pay. Next, compulsory leave. It's not the same thing as compulsion. Compulsory leave. Salary cuts. This one has legal implication. So be careful. But you also have to, you could put something, a clause in your appointment letter. That will help you. You could put a clause. Hide it somewhere there, but let it be there. Please note that the management reserves the right to review salaries upwards or downwards. Put it there. Review salary upwards or downwards. In certain circumstances. You don't have to explain. Because somebody might actually, the fortune of the school might change. For whatever reason, things are not as it used to be. Now you can't cope. You might have to renegotiate salaries with them. I'm sorry, we need to review. Mr. This, when you came in here, came in with so many qualifications. You told me you were in London before. Told me you have a PhD. You've done this, but I'm not getting value. I'm seeing your incompetence. But at the same time, I don't want to drop you, but I can't pay this much again. So can you take a 20% cut? They do that in football. They do that in organizations. All these big players, Ronaldo, Messi, all those guys, they take cuts sometimes. Some coaches take cuts. Say, sorry, we need to review. But it has legal implications. That's why I said that you should put it inside your application appointment letter. Please know that the management reserves the right to review salaries. And review could be up courses. Don't spend on them because they are not trainable, they are liabilities, they are not assets. So it is your appraiser that will help you know. Then who should be retired, who should be dismissed, who should be disengaged. All right. So also appraisal form for teaching, it should not be the same as appraisal form for non-teaching. Separate them. We also make that available. We have the two free of charge for you. Now let's go to remunerating staff. Remunerating staff. All right. What are the factors to be considered in determining staff remuneration, salaries? Number one, educational qualifications. But that's not all. Level and volume of responsibilities. Duration on present remuneration. How long has it been? I just increased your salary. I just started giving you 100,000. Now you're asking for an increment. It doesn't work that way. So you can have a policy in your school. Increment is minimum of 2 years interval, except in cases where whatever. Okay. Then current salary of subordinates. You should consider that. You made this guy. This guy was a teacher. You elevated him to become HM or principal. He cannot continue earning the salary that he has been earning because he now has more, so his subordinates should not be earning the same or as more than him. Then competence and value added. This is very important. You can even start that. This is more important than qualification. Competence and value added. Somebody might not even have a PhD, have a B.Ed. Just little NC that he has. But it's so useful to you. Everywhere, he's helping you, he's teaching well, he's helping you run the press club, the debating club, the drama club. He's the one running errands to the ministry. He's the one in charge of so many things. You need to find a way to compensate him. Not just the one who has a PhD and is just sitting there in the office and telling you everything is okay. So, competence and value added should be one of the things you consider. Then, results of the appraisal exercise. At the end of the appraisal, those people who are not doing well, you find a way to punish them. Find a way. Anybody who fails the appraisal, your salary will come in after a week or after 2 weeks. Those of you that have missed some working days, I'm going to deduct something from your pay. You will see how excuses will reduce. How can I come to work for 20 working days, excluding weekends? Another person missed 5 days. Then at the end of the month, we are going on with the same salary. It doesn't work that way. It shouldn't work that way. All right? Then, of course, the financial status of your school. Don't bite more than you can chew. Don't promise what you cannot do. Don't go and be promising people things and then now you cannot meet up. So look at your financial status because you're entitled to profit. How did I define school management? Do you remember at the beginning? So school management is the process of how a school manages its finance, personnel, assets, and so on and so forth for optimum returns on investments and maximization of profits. And of course, quality. So you are running quality, but you're in charge of the profits. You want to maximize your investment. So don't use all your income on salaries. There's a difference between making money and making profit. Some of us are making money, we're not making profit. At the end of the day, everything has gone to salary. You have nothing for yourself. Go and review certain things. You are entitled to profits. It's not Salvation Army. It's not a government school. Even the government school, they pay something now. Then you also have to consider remuneration scale of other schools. This is another factor. You see, because nobody is working for you because they love you. They're working for money. Schools in your area, what is the salary scale? If you are the lowest, you will most likely lose your staff because they will look for where the grass is greener. So try and be a little bit at par. All right? Other schools in the same class as yours. All right? Don't compete with people who are far above you or those who are far below you. Those are factors to be considered. Let's look at staff motivation. I hope you are getting something. Motivating staff. Motivating staff. Motivating staff. What is motivation? Motivation simply means inducing and encouraging subordinates to contribute their maximum efforts in the execution of their responsibilities and jobs. In other words, bringing out the best in your subordinates. How can I motivate my staff? Tips on motivating school staff. Number one, lead by example. Lead by example. Number two, focus on people first, then task second. Don't be a task-centered person. Don't be somebody who is only concerned about the job. The staff welfare doesn't matter. The staff happiness doesn't matter. Condition of service doesn't matter. Facilities do not matter. All you are interested in is just the money coming out from the people that are sweating. Don't be a slave driver. Be fair. Number three, be fair and just to all your staff. Number four, commend openly but rebuke privately. Don't rebuke them in front of the children, in front of the parents. Don't talk them down. Don't insult them. Don't tell them their cup will soon be too full. Let them have good job security. I will soon sack you. I will soon sack you. So, commend openly, but rebuke privately. Or in a closed setting, in a staff meeting, that's fine. Don't rebuke them in front of the children. You useless teacher. See me after your lesson. The children they now know that their teacher is useless. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Next, give everyone a sense of belonging in the school. All your staff have a sense of belonging. Create a happier environment, not a tense one amongst your staff. Number seven, encourage your staff to voice their complaints and their reservations. Have an open door policy. Don't let them suffer in silence. Let them have a suggestion box strictly for staff. What are the things you're not happy about? Engage them once in a while. Number 8, avoid favoritism, bias, and double standard. What you do for A, you do for B, under the same circumstances. Recognize, this is so important. Number 9, recognize and commend your hard workers. Commend your hard workers. Give them commendation letters. Some of us, since we've been running our school, no commendation letter. All your commendations are verbal. No, 1,000 times no. Commend your hard workers. Appreciate your hard workers. Have staff award programs. Never use the word my. Use our. Don't say it's my school. Say it's our school. Don't say they are working for you. Say they are working with you. That's number 10. Number 11, share victories and pains together. Share victories and pains together. Not only victories. What of their pains? Loss of a loved one. Are you available? Did the school put something together? As this guy was going to bury his dad, as this lady was getting married, as this one was put to bed, have a welfare policy. You don't even have to be, you can make sure, tell the staff, this is our policy. For parental loss, every staff, I am deducting 2,000 from your salary, and then the school will add 20,000. We'll put it together and give, it's a policy. For childbirth, this is the amount. That is if the school cannot do it on alone. But if you can do that, but share victories and pains. Share their pains with them. Number 12, show concern and interest in their personal lives. Don't be a slave driver. Don't be a hard-hearted proprietor or administrator. Show concern. Show concern. Once in a while, show up in their homes. On their birthdays, celebrate them. Celebrate them. Even if it is one cake for all those born in November, it's fine. It's fine. At the beginning of the month, you will cut it, whatever. Even if it's just a phone call from you, the principal, the proprietor, the administrator, it's nice. Show concern in their personal lives. Number 13, meet all contractual obligations to them. Honor all agreements. Pay what you said you will pay, when you said you will pay, and how you said you will pay. Don't break their salary into bits. If you have to do that, explain to them. Appeal to them. All right? Because that 20,000, that 10,000, that 100,000, that 500,000, that 50,000, I don't know how much you pay your staff. His family is waiting for it. His children are waiting for it. His wife is waiting for it. Don't break it. Don't cut it down. Don't delay it. Staff salary should not come late, except it's unavoidable. And then communicate with your staff regularly. That's number 14. Communicate with them. Have meetings, all of them. You have the general one, teaching and non-teaching. You have one with teaching staff, one with non-teaching staff, and let them know they can reach you. They can reach you. Don't be a proprietor and an administrator that alienates himself or herself from the staff. Next, number 15. Invest in them. Train them. Invest in them. Send them for seminars. Invite consultants to come on. Encourage them to hook up to our YouTube channel. That one is free. And tell them you must do that. I don't have data. You look for that, or I'll give you money. Or get somebody to come and set up the screen and let them all watch. Train your staff. Train your staff, brothers and sisters. If you don't train them, don't blame them. Make them happy. Let them get something. Let them know. Let them tell their spouse at home, I'm going for a training. The school is training us. That's a good one. Number 16, harness their potentials. Number 17, communicate with them regularly. We said that. Number 18, correct them where necessary. And credit them where necessary. Correct them where necessary, but also commend or credit them where necessary. Next, be open and sincere to them. Next, reward them based on performance and output, not on sentiments. And then be a leader, not a boss. Be a leader, not a boss. All right. Wow. We're running up now. Financial management and budgeting. So we've done human resources management. We've done under human resources management, we did recruitment, we did orientation, we did motivation, we did training, we did discipline, we did remuneration. Let's now go to financial management and budgeting. Now, I'd like to say this to you, school operators. The fact that a school is making money does not mean it is making profit. They are not the same thing. Making money is different from making profit. And my prayer for you is that you make profit, not just money. So, what does financial management involve? 3 things every school operator must be concerned about: financial planning, financial intelligence, and financial discipline. I'll say that again. Financial planning, financial intelligence, and financial discipline. And financial planning means you anticipate, you budget. What is the budget? A budget is an estimate of projected income and expenditure over a given period. Have a budget. Don't spend money arbitrarily. Have a budget for toiletries. Have a budget for the exam. Have a budget for stationaries. Have a budget for staff salaries. Have a budget for contingencies. Then financial intelligence, making wise choices in relation to the school finances. And then financial discipline, refusing to spend money on impulse. It's not everything the school can afford that you should buy. Getting the best bargains. Getting the best bargains. Saying no to yourself. As an individual, you must say no to yourself as a school operator. Have a separate account for staff salaries. Put yourself on salary. Don't be putting your hands into the school funds. Your school will not grow. Put yourself on salary. Be disciplined. Be disciplined. It's called fiscal discipline. Prudence. Prudence. Useful financial management let me give you some financial management tips for school operators. We also have this, I think it's documented. We can send that to you. But number 1, prepare timely or sessional budgets and adhere to them strictly. Avoid arbitrary spending. That's number 2. Have personal financial discipline. Number 4, all the school funds should be handled by only those staff authorized to do so. And make sure these funds are remitted within a specified time frame. Number 5, discourage cash payments for school fees where possible and where feasible. Let all fees be paid to the bank, except this is not feasible. Your school might be in a rural area. There might not be banks around. We can understand that. But as much as possible, use the banks. No staff should be allowed to take school funds home. Number 7, have separate dedicated account for staff salaries and a separate one for projects. Number 8, don't keep all the school accounts in the same bank. At times there could be network issues. At times you just wake up and you hear that the bank has folded up. What happens? I know a proprietor who all the school money went down in Savannah Bank when Savannah Bank went down. Same with all states. Don't forget, banks don't go down from the branches. Banks go down from the headquarters. So don't say this branch is very busy. Where my school money is very busy. They cannot close and they are busy. Your school money is not in that branch. Your school money is in the headquarters. It's just that branch that is holding, that you're interacting with. You don't know the books of the bank. Banks go down from Lagos, from the headquarters. So don't assume. So don't keep all your money. Don't say this bank is too strong to go down. There's no bank that cannot go down. Especially in a volatile economy like Nigeria, that where I live, where a government can wake up, the government does not like this particular owner of the bank and just bring out a policy and frustrate that bank out of the market. So have at least 3 accounts. At least 3 accounts, separate banks. And sometimes you might be owing a particular bank. They are not going to let you collect your money. So you can at least have another bank where you are servicing things like salaries and co. Did you get that? Did you get that? All right. But please go and pay. Go and pay who you are owing. Is that all right? On a lighter mood. So have separate dedicated accounts. Separate banks. You use at least 3. That's what I said. You could also have issues. Network. You are trying to do a transfer. There's no network. You simply go to the other bank. All right. So minimum of 3. If you want to do 2, no problem, but not 1. All right. Please make use of requisition forms in the school. No funds will be released without duly authorized requisition form. Don't accept verbal requisition. There's a need for this. They need 10,000, 100,000, 200,000, 50,000 to make photocopies for the exam. Say, okay, no problem. Go and collect it from the bursar. No, he has to fill requisition form. It's a small sheet, very small sheet, about a quarter of this. Date, name, who are you, what do you want, purpose, amount requested, 100,000. Purpose, authorized by, then counter authorized. Principal signs, then you sign. Then they take that to the bursar or to the whoever it is. And then it is filed, it's documented. No more verbal approval, no more verbal requests for funds, requisition forms. All right. Then keep some amount of money aside every month for depreciation of schools' fixed assets, the generator, the vehicles, and so on. Make sure you have that. Is that all right? Insist that receipts are issued for all payments made to the school. That's number 11. Do not expose your school staff to school funds, your staff to school funds. As much as possible, use banks for all monetary transactions. And when lodgements are made, insist on seeing the deposits, proof, slips, and keep your own copies. And you can also pay visits to your bank yourself. Make sure you have a software that is helping you to monitor. All right? Liaise regularly with the school accountant or bursar. Don't take things for granted. Insist on getting weekly reports from the accountant or the bursar on the state of the school's finance. Weekly. I didn't say monthly. Weekly. How much has come in this week? And then you have to also confirm that it's in the bank, because that's what they call fake alerts now. Now, please, number 15. No outward payments will be made without your approval, apart from floats and interest. Somebody cannot just make payments on your behalf without your approval. Thank God we live in a technology-driven world. You can call me, you can send me a message, but nobody spends without your approval. But let there be floats, let there be interest, just in case you understand what I mean. Okay. Consciously ensure that the school's liabilities do not exceed its assets. Number 16. Ensure that the liabilities do not exceed the assets. Don't bite more than you can chew. Your true strength is your assets, not your liabilities. Number 17. Do not give the school accountant or the school bursar too much freedom. Put checks and balances in place. It's not the person that collects the money that will take the money to the bank that will now go and confirm whether money is the bank. No, somebody else. Let there be checks and balances. Because we live in a world where everybody is trying to shortchange the other person. All right? And then lastly, if you can afford it, invite professional accountants or auditors timely to cross-check your books if you can afford it. I think you should do that. If you cannot afford PricewaterhouseCoopers, you cannot afford Arthur Andersen, you cannot afford Akintola Williams, at least you can afford, you have a friend. You have a friend who is an accountant, invite him over to please check your books and give him something for his time. Give him something for his time. But you must run your school based on sound, all right? So that's basic. Then make sure you prepare budgets. That's important, all right? Make sure you have budget for infrastructural department. So things you should budget for. Budget for infrastructure, write that down. What is a budget? Estimated, estimate of projected income and expenditure. Have a plan. Have a budget for infrastructural development. Have a budget for staff, for salaries, for loans, and for their welfare. Have a budget for staffing. Have a budget for stationaries. So I said, number 1, areas you should budget for. Infrastructural development, staffing, that's staff, salaries, loans, welfare, stationery, furniture, examination. Examination takes a lot of money. co-curricular activities, excursions, all right, competitions, clubs, graduations, and so on. Toiletries, have a budget for toiletries. And then have a budget for training. Have a budget for training and capacity building. It might not be much. And don't exceed your budget. You say it's just 100,000 every session, every term, whatever. It's 1 million, depending on the size of your school. Have a budget for training. So that when you hear, get a call, there's a seminar going on, there's one organizing it, maybe it's a nice one, send 1 or 2 teachers. The next time, another 2 goes. If you want to bring them closer to your school, you want to invite me to your school, have a budget. I'm not expensive at all. I assure you, I'm about the cheapest resource person. For me to be doing this for you free, I didn't ask for a kobo. That will give you an idea of what I can do. All right, I just made up my mind to add value to my world. I'm not. Money is not the motivation at all. Otherwise, you will charge it so much. So, have a budget for training. Is that all right? Wow. I think. Okay, let's round up now with customer care, parent retention, customer care. I start by talking to you, school operators, on the 6 pillars of customer care. The 6 pillars of customer care. First pillar of customer care is attitude. Number 2 is interest, the right attitude. Your teachers should have the right attitude. They should show interest in what is going on with the customers. And when I say customers, I mean the parents, basically. Of course, the children too. Action, that's the next pillar, action. Take action. Take action on their requests. They should watch their verbal language. That's the next pillar, verbal language. Then body language. Some school staff, their body language is wrong. Even if you're not talking, your mouth is talking. So, verbal language, body language, then their tone. They should watch their tone when talking to parents. Don't talk in an aggressive tone. Tell your staff. Don't talk in a rude tone, in an impatient tone. So the 6 pillars of customer care are attitude, interest, action, verbal language, body language, tone of voice. All right. Let's go to parent interaction tips. You need to teach your teachers. It's also in our online training already. They can go there and listen to that. Parent interaction tips. All school staff will be patient and friendly with parents. Please talk to your gate man. I'm putting something together for non-teaching staff. I haven't been able to really get it together because it's very demanding. But once it's ready, I'll let you know. We also have something for prefects. That one is almost ready. All the school prefects, you ensure that they undergo that online course. All right? So all staff must be patient and friendly with parents. They must not get on the defensive. Number 2, they should not say, I don't know. Is it my fault? Am I the one? No. Instead of saying, I don't know, say, I'll find out. Number 3, they should never give the parents the impression that they are interrupting or disturbing them. Your customer cannot disturb you. So they shouldn't give that impression. Oh, what is it? What do you want, sir? I'm busy. You cannot be busy. You cannot be busy for your customer because the customer makes paydays possible. And tell your secretary, if you have a secretary, if there are people waiting to see you, one is a teacher, one is the school tailor, one is a supplier of diesel, one is a parent, tell your secretary it's not first come, first service, first serve. The parent goes in first. The others should wait. The teacher is in the school. He can come back anytime and you can still see you. The tailor is looking for money. The supplier is waiting for his payment. Out of those 4 people, the teacher, the parents, the tailor, the diesel supplier, only one of them is bringing money to you. Is bringing money. So that person should be given priority. Tell your secretary. Tell your secretary. I see parents before I see any other person. The customer comes first. The customer comes first. The customer comes first. Parents should not be lining up waiting to see you. And while you are attending to teachers. No. Attend to teachers after they have gone. You are in the school with them. All right? So don't ever give them the impression that they are interrupting or disturbing you. Watch your body language. Tell them they should watch their tone. I said that they should also watch their pitch. Shouldn't be too loud. Don't shout on parents. It's not acceptable. They should listen to what the parents have to say. They should address their concerns. They should always be willing to help parents and learners. Parents are coming in the morning to drop their children. Can the school not have umbrellas? This is rainy season. The children have to run under the rain. Is it too much to get 5, 10 umbrellas? Do you even have teachers on duty in the morning when cars are coming in the morning? Parents are hitting one another. People are struggling on how to park. The security man's job is just to open the gate. Who is coordinating the car park? Do we have some people with umbrellas? Sir, don't worry, don't come down. Let me help you take Junior. And then you come back Junior to his class. The man is happy. It's part of customer care. Why should I be wet? Because I want to drop my child in school. Get umbrellas. Get umbrellas. Get umbrellas. This is rainy season. Always be willing to help. And then give them a reason to come back in the midst of alternatives. So those are 11 things that just parent interaction tips. 10 characteristics of bad customer service. Every proprietor, every school operator online now, go and talk to your teachers and your staff, teaching and non-teaching, about this following. All right? It's also in our online training, and it's still on. The video is up. The video is up. Number 1, failing to greet parents when they come around is wrong. Raising your voice at parents is wrong. Tell your staff. Not giving the parent full and undivided attention is wrong. Arguing with parents is wrong. Hanging up the phone on an angry parent is wrong. Eating in front of parents is wrong. Putting a call on hold without first asking is wrong. Avoiding eye contact with parents. Looking elsewhere when talking with him or her is wrong. Socializing with other staff when parents are present is wrong. Forgetting to use common courtesies. No please, no thank you, no sorry, no excuse me. Wrong. Yelling at parents is wrong. And lastly, complaining about your organization to parents is wrong. Tell them they should complain inwards, not outwards. They should not ridicule, what's the word now? They should not give the wrong impression about your school. They should not degrade your school by complaining. If I have not paid you on time, the parents don't need to know that. If you have any issues, address it with me. Address it with the management. Complaining about the organization to parents is a character of bad customer service. What are those vital things schools must do to make parents happy? Let's look at that now. Don't worry, we're running up soon. Vital things schools must do to make parents happy. Number 1, teach their children well. Number 2, treat their children well. It's not the same thing. You could teach the children well, but you don't treat them well. So teach their children well. I said it earlier. What parents are primarily interested in is my children doing well. Any other thing you do, we appreciate you, but I'm happier if I know that my child is doing well, is being taught well. Teach their children well. Treat their children well. Number 3, be reasonable in all your charges. Give them value for the fees they are paying. Carry them along in your decisions. Don't be dictatorial. Give parents courtesy and regard. Be open to them. Don't give room for assumptions. See them as fellow stakeholders, not just parents. Improve on customer care. Be innovative and be dynamic as a school. Always be doing new things. Be seen to be innovative. Be seen to be dynamic. Schools that do not innovate will die a natural death. There's a saying in management that says, it is more difficult to stay at the top than to get to the top. Anybody can get to the top. Can you stay at the top? Who will have believed that BlackBerry would die? Nokia will die. Who will have believed? BlackBerry, that was everywhere. But they did not innovate. There was no dynamism. They relaxed. They felt they had arrived. No, you have not arrived. No matter how well your school is doing. No matter how well your school is doing, you have not arrived. I want you to know. So be doing new things. If you don't have a school magazine, start a school magazine with the children driving it. The press club can drive it. You have crossword puzzles. You have word search. You have riddles and jokes. You have interviews by the students interviewing the principal, interviewing the proprietor. You have riddles and jokes. You have quotable quotes. You have different things. You just, even if it's a 2-page magazine that you staple, fine. It's still something. Let your clause be there. Let's have some competitions. Let's have some, be innovative. Have parent seminars. Have seminars for the students. You know, leadership seminar, ethics seminars. Come on. Dynamism and innovation will take you far. It will make you stand out. Make you stand out. Have a good mix of curricular and co-curricular activities. Don't be too curricular and don't be too co-curricular. Have a good blend. All right? Make the school PTA very active, lively, and beneficial to parents. That's number 12. Have parent seminars and parents interactive sessions once in a while. Number 14. During speech and prize giving days, give outstanding parents prizes too, not only the students. Outstanding parents. have a session for acknowledging awarding some parents. Those of them who have shown so much commitment to the school, who have been helpful, who have regular school fees payers. Recognize them. Recognize them. I say it again. If you not treat the good people well, you are encouraging the bad people. By the time parents see that, this man just won an award for consistency in whatever, for as the most punctual parent, as the most cooperative parent, others will try to do the same thing. I hope I'm communicating. I hope I'm not asking for too much. If you will only put these things to work, your school will grow beyond the widest imagination. Success is not just a function of prayer. It's a function of doing the things you ought to do. Then God will do the things He ought to do. If you don't do your own, why do you want God to do His own? Because as you are praying, parents are also praying. You are saying, God, give me parents. Parents are saying, God, give me good schools. So the choice, which one will God answer? Be in constant communication with parents via newsletters, WhatsApp group posts, emails. Your WhatsApp group, your parents' platform should not just be for information concerning fees, pay your fees, no school tomorrow, it's midterm break. Can't you have some things that will also benefit the parents? Once in a while, you talk to them about their health, about the security situation in town, about basic. Just get somebody, just get some content for the WhatsApp platform. The doctor can just send in something there, all right? Tomorrow, a lawyer talks about some things concerning. Just make the parent WhatsApp group very, very interesting, all right? And then make sure that you can have timely newsletters or monthly newsletters, which you post on the WhatsApp group. Is that all right? Next, 16, make parents more involved in the school. This could be achieved by the following. Make them patrons. You can make them patrons of schoolhouses. All right? I don't know if you have houses. Who is the patron of Red House or Blue House or this house? Let parents be in charge or be patrons. You can even make parents, number 2, make parents patron of clubs. The school my children attended when they were in primary and secondary school, I was the patron of the press club and the debating club. Because somewhere along the line, the school got to know that I'm into training, I'm into public speaking. So they approached me, can you please be the patron of our debating club? Why not? And once in a while, when I'm free, I talk to the debating club members. I give them some public speaking tips. And when they say they have a competition, I give them the little I have. They want to buy a present for this, for the winner. I say, no wahala. Oh yeah, take 10K, take 20K. If I have more, I give to them. Make parents patrons of clubs. Sir, can you please be the patron of our junior engineers and technicians club, or as call it, some people schools call it STEM club. You have an engineer who is in charge of, who is the patron. You come around and talk to them once in a while. You know, and so on and so forth. Make them patrons of clubs. Number 3, invite the professionals among them to come and give some career talks to the students occasionally. You don't have to wait for career day. If you want to do that, why not? Why not? Why not? Do you have a lecturer in the university? As a parent, invite him. Before the SS3 students go, let him come and talk to them. Things to watch out for on campus. Cultism. How to calculate your grade point, your cumulative grade points. Assessments, how it's done on campus. Things, how to manage your time on campus. The man will do it freely. Even if you don't have a lecturer parent, you have somebody that has gone through, the graduates among them can do that for you. It's not because your teachers cannot do it, you are bringing them closer. Sir, can you please talk to our graduating students on this? He will do it gladly. And all these things are adding value. And ensure that whatever you do, you put the pictures on the parents' platform. You know, organize seminars for the students, seminars for the boys, seminars for the girls, seminars for the children too, even at the primary level. All right? Wow. Next, patronize them, those of them who offer services or products that the school needs. Maybe the school needs has some services. One of them is to catering. Patronize her for the end of year party. One of them is into whatever it is. Patronize them. All right. I'm telling you how you can make them happy. I'm not saying you patronize them; those are not competent. Somebody deals in computers. You want to buy a computer for the school. You've given the contract to an outsider. Why did you do that? Someone is into CCTV. Is there any parent that does that? Why not? You want some small supplies. Somebody is into bakery. Patronize his bread for your boarding facilities. Patronize them. Number 17. I hope I'm right. Greet them via SMS or WhatsApp messages on their special days. Wedding anniversaries, birthdays, child births. All right? All right? And for childbirth, the school must send the delegation. For childbirth, for wedding, for important moments, let the school be represented with a little gifts. All right? Then you must have other ways. Don't forget, we're talking about how we can make parents happy. Then have a parents complaint phone line which parents can call at any time to express their reservations about things they are not happy with. Have a phone line. Parents, they don't have to come down. Always come down to be complaint. There should be a phone line. There should be a complaints box and all that stuff. All right. Important. All right. So that's that. If you put this, circulate feedback forms to parents. All right. So that you know what they are happy about, what they're not happy about. All right. We have the free feedback forms also, which you can make available to you. Okay. So if you put these things to work, I think your parents will be happy, and there will be good relationship. Important traits parents deserve from staff. Tell your staff they deserve courtesy, they deserve transparency, they deserve active listening, they deserve consideration, they deserve respect and regard, they deserve effective communication, speedy response, empathy. The staff must put themselves in parents' shoes, and then access. Give them access to whatever information they need. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Items schools must have to improve customer care. Number one, you must have a customer care policy pasted on the wall, on all walls. We have that available, which we'll make available to you. We've already made that available to some those who have requested on all notice boards. Number two, you must have a complaints box. This is different from a suggestion box, because suggestion is not the same as a complaint. I may not have a complaint, I may not have a suggestion, but I have a complaint. But what you wrote on the box was suggestion box, so I leave it. Have a complaints box. Have a complaints phone line with the numbers placed conspicuously on walls for parents and students to use. And also put it on the parents' platform. This is the school complaints line. And then have feedback forms for both parents and students. All right? Okay. What to do and say when a complaint is made. Tell your teachers, tell your staff, anytime a complaint is made by a parent, number one, don't argue with the parent on the spot. Don't argue. Number two, get the details of the complaint. Get all the necessary information. Number three, apologize to the parent on the spot, even if you think he or she doesn't deserve it. Don't investigate before apologizing. Promise to do something about the problem or situation. Address the complaint as soon as possible. Correct the situation. Next, they should check if the parent is now satisfied. Take steps to prevent a reoccurrence. Inform your superior, that's your HOD, for record purposes and to ascertain if you address the situation the right way. All right? They should not keep parents' complaints to themselves. And they should always ensure that the parent lives happier than before he complained. That is the sequence for addressing complaints. All right. Lastly, on customer care, parents' bill of rights. The parent has rights. They have rights, sorry. Just as patients have rights. We have patients' bill of rights. We also have parents' bill of rights. So what are the rights of the parent? Number one, write this down. The right to qualitative educational service delivery for their children. It's a right because they pay fees. Number two, the right to speedy response to their inquiries. The right to transparent billing and full disclosure of any costs. Right to individuality. Don't treat everybody together. They are individual. I don't know why this man is complaining. Frida's father did not complain. David's father did not complain. So why is Michael's father complaining? He's not Frida's dad. He's not David's dad. He's Michael's dad. So he's an individual. And I want you to know this, esteemed and dear proprietors and administrators. Don't see complaints negatively. In management, they say the customer that complains is the customer that wants to stay. Tell your teachers this. I'll say it again. The customer that complains is the customer that wants to stay. He still believes in you. He still believes in your school. That's why he's complaining. If he did not believe, he didn't want to come back, he would have taken his child away. Is your school the only school? So I'll say it again. The customer, drum it into the hearts of your staff. The customer that complains is the customer that wants to stay. Number two, the customer makes paydays possible. And number three, the customer can never be an interruption to our business. Because without the customer, there's no us. Tell them that the customer makes paydays possible. Once there's no customer, there's no income. When there's no income, there's no salary. All right. So where am I now? The right to individuality. He has a right to be treated with respect, regardless of gender, race, religion, ethnicity, age, regardless of all that. Once she's a parent or she's a parent, she deserves respect. I heard some teachers say that small girl, it's not her fault just because her husband has money. She's a small girl. Whether she's a small girl, she's a big girl, give her respect because she's a parent. The right to be treated with respect. He has a right to complain and expect satisfaction if he's not satisfied. It's his right. He has a right to value for money. For his money. He's paying. Because he's paying, he should get value. He has a right to prompt attention. I told you earlier. You can't keep a parent waiting while a teacher or a service provider is in your office. It's not accepted. He has a right to be treated, to be given prompt attention. Because he's going to his job, he's going to his work. Then he has a right to leave if not satisfied. I pray they will not use that right. So those are what we call the Parents' Bill of Rights. Because of time, I can't go over it again. All right, but you go over it. It's online. Okay, finally. I've said finally how many times now? This is the finally. Key progress indicators for schools. Key progress indicators for schools. What are those things we use to measure if a school is doing well? If I give them to you, you will now go back and ask yourself, based on this criteria, is my school doing well? So this is based on standard standard world-class practices, not the country you stay in, not Nigeria, not London, not America, world. Wherever the school is, these are the things we use to measure if the school is doing well or not. Are you ready? Number one, we call them KPIs for schools. Key progress indicators. Number one, steady increase in new intakes. Do they have new intakes? If you do not have new intakes, be concerned. If all you have are just people living in primary 5 or 6, SS3, please do something about your publicity, about your marketing, about your awareness. That's number one. We're rounding up in the next 3 minutes now. So, all right. Next, implementation of sound administrative structures based on best global practice. The school is run based on sound administrative practice. You have an organogram, you have code of conduct, you have departments, you have appraisal, standard administrative procedures. Not you just running your school as you want to. So I talked about steady increase in new intakes as the first. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Implementation of sound administrative structures based on best global practices. Standard financial procedures based on best practices. You have budgets, you have requisition forms, you use the banks, you don't do things arbitrarily. Okay? Infrastructural developments. There should be some form of, the school should be seen to be making some infrastructural progress. It cannot just be in one small cubicle for so many years. Let us be seen. The school should be seen to be. Now, please don't put yourself under undue pressure. I'm just telling you what the thing that I use to measure the progress of a school: infrastructural development, cordial, harmonious relationship with parents. What do I mean by that? Mutual understanding, mutual respect, and mutual cooperation. Realistic to capable liabilities. Your liabilities do not exceed your assets. And if it does, it's realistic. Realistic overhead. Realistic overhead. You don't bite more than you can chew. You are not somebody who your overhead is so much such that you can't do anything worthwhile. Realistic overhead. Steady acquisition of assets. The school is acquiring assets. Gradually acquiring assets. It's important. Pay attention to asset acquisition. All right? And then you have more creditor parents than debtor parents. Some schools, they have so many parents, but more than half are owing. They don't pay. You are not making progress. You need to pray hard. You need to do something about that. It's not a matter of how many parents you have, how many are paying. Some schools at the end of the session, millions of naira unaccounted for. Find a way around that. Then next, qualified, motivated and disciplined and serious-minded teachers. Staff. Your staff are qualified. Even if they are not qualified, they are motivated, they are disciplined, they are serious-minded. Those of us who do not have qualified teachers, see what you can do. Get qualified teachers. All right, don't get quacks, don't get charlatans to be imparting knowledge. Somebody who has not passed WAEC is teaching SS3. That should not be. That should not be. That should not be. Then low turnover of staff. That's the next one. Low turnover of staff. If you have a situation where staff are always leaving, I'm almost true, are always leaving, it's not nice. Ask yourself, why is it that staff are not staying? Low turnover of staff, regular training, retraining, and updating of teaching staff. It's part of the things we look out for. You regularly train, you retrain, and you update your teaching staff, and even your non-teaching staff. Then we also look at impressive performance of students in external exams. There are some schools, the children only do well in their external exams. Once they go out for common entrance, for WAEC, for JAMB, for Cambridge, for all those other exams, they don't do well, then there's a problem. There's something wrong. So we also look at performance of students in external exams. We are talking about key performance indicators, key progress indicators for schools. All right? Then next, good blend of academic and co-curricular activities. It's not just curricular activities. And side by side the curricular activities, you have clubs, you have excursions, you have competitions, you have skills-based activities. You need to engage the children in skills. Look at China. What is the secret of their success? Right from nursery, they begin to expose the children to skills. You see a child in nursery school, in primary school, he can bake, he can sew, he can mix cement, he can cook. Skills. Introduce that. Tell your home economics teacher, tell your fine art teacher, tell your science teacher, we must be practical. What are the children doing? Because you see, the world has moved from certificate era to the skills era. It's no longer just about what you know, it's about what you can do with your hands. Develop them in terms of sports, in terms of talent. Have a drama club, you are building their drama skills. Have a debating club, you are building their talking skills. I'm a public speaker. I feed my family from talking. And I learned that because I was exposed to debating early. Right from my secondary school, my primary school, we had a debating club, we had a press club, and I was there. That's why I learned to conquer stage fright. I learned to express myself. As at that time, I did not even know I was going to end up in public speaking. I got to the secondary school, the same thing. I was the president of a debating club. And so I conquered stage fright right from age what? The debating club should be active. The press club should be active. The drama club should be active. The junior engineers and technician club should be active. Some people call it STEM club. Have the computer club. Have all those nice clubs. Skills. The richest people in our country today are the musicians, the artists, the sportsmen. Look at Ronaldo. Look at Messi. Look at Victor Osimhen. Young guys earning millions. The musicians, look at Davido, look at Olamide, look at Burna Boy, look at all those guys. Are you developing your children? Those who are good in music, are you developing that? Those who are good in computer, are you teaching them practicals? Public speaking, cake making, cooking, soap making, detergent making. What are your children doing as per co-curricular activities? Remember, what a child hears, he will forget. What a child sees, he will forget. But what a child does, what he practicalizes, he will not forget. What are sports? What are sports? So that's all right. So basically, I think I have done justice to this. I have one more thing I would have loved to talk to you about. If you have the time, let me just give it to you. Strategically positioning your school to survive the current recession. There's recession going on now. It has never been this, but I don't know about other countries, but in the country I stay in Nigeria, because this teaching is on YouTube all over the world. Anybody can log in. So, but for us in Nigeria, the economy is getting tougher. You need to re-strategize. You need to reposition. You need to cut off wastages. So I have some things here I've listed for you. Number one, reduce overhead where possible. Reduce your overhead costs where possible. Cut down on certain overhead. Number two, block leakages and eliminate wastages as much as possible. Block leakages, eliminate wastages. No wastage anymore. No wastage of stationery. No wastage of toiletries. Look at your budget for toiletries. It's not small money. Block leakages. Some people are stealing your things. Some of your cleaners are stealing your detergent, taking them home. They are stealing your detergent, your jig, your bleach. If you have a boarding school, some of the staff they are stealing your food items. Go and install CCTV cameras. Monitor everybody. Those are the kitchen, those are the cleaners. Before they leave the premises, the gate man must search them with courtesy. With courtesy. They do it in Mr. Biggs. They do it in Chicken Republic. They do it in all eateries. Do your own too. Nobody must be allowed. Some teachers are taking instructional materials home. Block leakages and eliminate wastages. Next, explore the possibility of some staff multitasking, at least at the primary level. One teacher can teach social studies, can teach civic, can teach moral instructions or something like that. Reduce overhead. Let some staff multitask. Consciously eliminate duplication of efforts. Two people should not be doing the same thing except they are both is needed. Then next thing, you renegotiate payment terms with your suppliers. Have a meeting with all your suppliers, the book suppliers, the uniform suppliers, stationery suppliers, service providers. Have a meeting and tell them, we need to review. We need to review. I want better bargain. Some of them I give you. Threaten them that you will leave them and bring in another tailor. You see that the tailor will do something for you. Tell the book supplier, we've been with you for 5 years, 10 years. I'm sorry, we want to change our supplier, except you give us a small rebate. He will consider that. He will consider that. Renegotiate, at least try. Next, look out for other multiple streams of income for the school. Which other ways can you make money? School lesson. Money can come in from school lesson. Holiday classes, money can come in from there. The school hall. On Saturdays, nobody is there. You can rent it out. You can rent it. I know a particular proprietor that makes 150,000 naira every Saturday from his school hall. From his school hall, he rents it out for events. One of them even uses the school field because he has a beautiful field. So while something is going on in the hall, a wedding reception in the hall, something is going on in the field, he's making money. At least he will be able to pay some staff from that. You lock up your hall only for exams. Now, please, don't get me wrong. We don't all have to do this. I'm just telling you some ways you can have multiple streams of income. You can upgrade the hall a bit, and people pay. The standard hall cannot be less than 200,000 in today's in the country where I live, Nigeria. You can have a business center in front of the school because your photocopy machine is only busy during exams. You can have a farm, have a school farm, especially if you have a boarding school. Before you know it, the farm is producing vegetables, tomatoes. It's producing, you can even have a poultry. You can have a fish pond that will be supplying the school. You can have a bakery. You can have your own water that you're producing. Whatever. These are just things that I just thought about that will help you. All right? Then revisit your school financial management procedures and make sure you work with budgets and make sure you block any form of leakage in terms of your finances. Maintain all existing assets to prevent damage or loss, because to replace anything now, that's your school generator. Make sure it is serviced. Have a book where you are keeping records of when it was serviced and ensure it is being serviced. The school bus, because some drivers collect money for service, they don't service it. Make sure a teacher follows the driver for the servicing. Make sure the oil was actually changed. The boil joint, the brake pad was actually changed. Because all these things, if anything goes wrong with that school bus, where are you going to get money? Where are you going to get 50 million from to buy a new bus? So maintain all your assets, generator, the school bus, the play equipment, the computers, and you must ensure that every staff has what I call a maintenance culture. All right. So insist on timely progress reports from your principal. We also send that to you, the monthly or timely report. The principal or HM should fill it and send to you so that you know the state of the affairs of the school. And then take customer care seriously and so on. So that basically is what I have in stock for you. I don't know if you have learned anything. I hope you have. And please put what you have learned to work. Nobody has monopoly of knowledge. I might have said some things that will not relate to your school, are not acceptable to you. It's fine. Absolutely fine. But the ones that you think are useful, put them to work. Your school will do well by the special grace of God. The Center for Education Development is out to enhance, to help you, help school owners. The only thing we cannot give you is money because we don't have it. It's not a federal government institution. It's actually a private organization. I'm in charge. It's my brainchild, and I'm doing everything possible to see how I can add value to the educational system of this country. As I speak to you now, I'm almost through with the package for school prefects. That will be released very soon. School prefects, training the school prefects online too, on leadership, on maintaining order in the school, duty of a school prefect, academic excellencies for prefects, and all those things take a lot of time and money. We've already done the one for teachers. If you don't have the link, I'll give you my contact so that you can reach me. We'll send you the link. We'll send you the link for that. It's on. We're not going to bring down any video that will put off. All right. This particular course is a certificate course, but collecting the certificate is not compulsory. If you don't want the certificate, all right. But for those who want certificates, all right, you will have to pay for the certificates. All right. In addition to, we have this. It's a national retraining exercise. All right, for private school operators in Nigeria. All right, produced and is endorsed by the Federal Ministry of Education. We have done a lot of research. All what I've said is inside here. So if you want this book, you want the soft copy of this book and the soft copy of your certificates, all right, which you can print out or whatever, then all you need to pay is a token of 10,000 naira. You won't pay more than that. That covers professional certificates and all that. And all you need to do, you let us know. All right, the contacts, the phone number is 080 61 21 4116. 080 61 21 4116. That's my number. It's my WhatsApp number. If you send me a message, I want the certificate and I also want that manual. Make it available for you. And then those documents I talked about, those ones have no cost implications. All right? The account details to make your 10,000 naira payment is 0019447202. I'll take that again. 0019447202. The bank is Sterling Bank, and the account name is NCMD Training Services. NCMD Training Services. N for national, C for center, M for manpower, D for development. But you don't need to write everything. Just NCMD Training Services. Sterling Bank, 0019447202. Once you make a payment of 10,000, you send your slip to 08061214116, and then you give us your full name. Your certificate will be sent to you via WhatsApp. You can print it out. It's a beautiful certificate, and it shows that you have undergone a certificate course in school management and administration. And then this one will also be sent to you. But for those who don't want the certificate, you don't want this, then you owe me nothing, and I also owe you nothing. Go with the knowledge and put it to work. Is that all right? For the prefects training that is coming up, we'll send you the link. That one has no cost implications. But they will be giving certificates, but there's no cost implications for that one. I'm trying to see if I can make that free for the prefects. Is that all right? I'd like to appeal to you, as you round up now, please click on the subscribe button if you have not already done that, because some of you are already watching my videos. All right? The only thing that gives us value on YouTube is the subscription, because when you get to a particular number, then YouTube begins to pay. And then if YouTube is paying us, then we don't need to charge, and even the one I'm talking of 10,000 will not be necessary anymore. So encourage us. The subscription has no cost implications. Just click on the subscribe button, and you can just click on like. That will help us. As I speak to you now, we have about 400 subscribers, which is beautiful. Once we get up to 1,000, I was told that YouTube begins to pay something, and that will help us to do more. We can now begin to put together trainings for your non-teaching staff, even training for your students. All secondary, they have something, and they sit down in the hall and they listen. So I appeal to you, encourage us at Center for Education and Development. We are doing so much. The studio cost is so much. I won't, all right? So 08061214116. Remember to click the subscribe button. If you subscribed before, maybe during the teacher's own, don't subscribe again, because if you click again, you have unsubscribed, and that will reduce it. I thank you so much for your time. I thank you for believing in what we are doing. Please share this. Ensure that the link goes to all your colleagues. If you're a member of association, NAPS, APSIN, OMEP, whatever, please let them know what is going on in Center for Education and Development. We are out to enhance capacity. But if you want something physical, you want us to come to your school for a teacher training, for students training, for whatever, if you can make the accommodation, transportation, I think we'll be able to come. All right. So I pray for you that God will help you. God will help your school. God will help everything that concerns you. Your school will grow, will do well, will do exploits. Your parents will all be happy with you. And God will give you the wisdom to run the school well. For those of you that are not making profit, as a result of this seminar, profit will come your way by the special grace of God. Thank you, and God bless you. The name again is Afolabi Adun, Executive Director, Center for Education Development, Abuja, 080-6121-4116. Remember to subscribe and to like. God bless you.